All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I guess the bucket confirms that our confusion ending run is done.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
As if things weren't confusing enough in the last ending, now I have a bucket.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Is this an intervention?
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I still hate you, Broom Closet. And I let you burn. I don't know what you're still doing here.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Da 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 da.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
To be fair, it was a really
Don't you
fun
remember
ending.
all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do
What?
it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
It's not happening. You can pry this bucket from my cold, dead hands.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
I don't like this character.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
It makes me closer with the bucket.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No, turn it off.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this.
I kind of want a shirt with the Bucket Destroyer on it now.
The Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and crush.
Was that the final boss?
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
It's beautiful.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
I want my happiness now. I wonder if you can destroy the bucket.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward. Can you guess what the bucket destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Does it not let me throw the bucket in?
Listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it
I
can't
just
destroy
stuck it
your
closer
bucket.
to myself.
Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one...
Fair enough. My happiness. I can't get to the phone. Okay, so here is the full narrator ending.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
That ending sucks. Bucket time.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Boop.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
It's all thanks to Bucket.
Excitedly, The two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Ooh,
True, it was
interesting.
a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait. What was happening?
Hey, wait.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Hey, no.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Yeah.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
The bucket's just too powerful. That's the real moral of this story. Okay, I think there's a few straggler endings for us to still go get. So we're going to chipper ahead and find a couple more of them. Okay, I think you have to...
Stepping into his manager's office,
Oh, dang
Stanley
it.
was once again stunned to
Messed it
discover
up.
not an indication of any human life.
All right, let's try that again.
Stepping in.
Nailed it. Okay. Now I think we just go back. Yep, I think everything's open. And now this door is open. You are now leaving. Escape pod bay, floor 760. Okay. We can't go up the elevator, I guess. Nope. I didn't realize there was no narrator interaction at all on this ending. Escape pod launch bay. What does it say at the bottom? Escape pod will initiate a relay. Triggered, cannot be disabled or paused. Doesn't order. I don't know. Probably something safe, right? Is that whole ending? Huh. Okay, well.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Now we're going to do the same thing.
Go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But with a bucket.
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No. No, surely not. Stepping in.
Got it. All right, now we walk back, but with the bucket. I guess in this ending, the the thought process is that you left the narrator in the manager's office. It's the only thing I can think of that makes reasonable sense. Alright, same ending, but now with a bucket. My bucket son. You must be free from the facility. Shh. No, no. No words now. No tears. You must take this opportunity for freedom that I cannot take myself. All is for you, Bucket. Go forth and live the life you would not have given otherwise. Goodbye, Bucket. I love you. Truly the most heart-wrenching ending.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket's not here on this run. Did I free him? Did I free the bucket? Okay, I'm not sure if this is an ending in itself, or if this is just part of the jump ending.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it.
I think I can make it.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Now, let's see it with the bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Look, a replacement bucket. How convenient.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Oh, rude.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket. Did you know that buckets are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true. You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive.
I believe it. Put it on your head.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay, I think this is its own ending.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Thanks, maybe I should write the story.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
And again.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
It's the boss's office.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
Blows my mind every time.
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a timeout here for a minute while I process this.
Ooh, that's some jaunty music.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, cool, we're back.
I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
Oh, you take all the time you need.
All right, I have fully come to terms with it.
Oh, as long as you feel you're
Space
comfortable.
My worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Yes, sir. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back down the elevator.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
This may be the angriest I have ever heard him. And we're going to do it again.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator.
Zero.
But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Ooh.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible.
Not
They
me,
want
man.
Big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started.
Nah, I'm about the slow ride.
Tension. Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal?
That's right.
This
Slow burn is beautiful.
Storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you.
Thank you,
You're
thank you.
the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition.
You got that right.
Role model, you know? People look up to you.
Oh, I know.
Which
I'm
is
aware.
why Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life.
Oh,
Yes,
you
I know
shouldn't
you're
have.
not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
Press conference.
Okay, the
Press
room where we're holding the
conference.
press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Love what you've done with the artwork. Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I mean, none of those are as cool as Stanley Live. It's almost as cool as Stanley Live.
Yes, here it is, just through this door.
Nice. Stanley Live. Well, that's probably not safe. That actually would be pretty interesting.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of
Is my last
surprise
name
in
Ryder?
storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of
pretty
you,
important.
Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Ooh. Look at that. They got my name on the chair and everything. Nice. Up again. Down again. The Stanley story. Nice. Fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. Fan mail? Oh. I'll try. I remember you all in therapy. Boom. It's me. It's Stanley Live. Yes, I know. Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. That ending was fantastic. I don't know that I got that on my original playthrough, but yeah. Let's see it with a bucket. Time to go down, up, and then down again. And then up, and then down. And then maybe back up.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Nah, bucket, we gotta get out of here, man.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
The bucket understands the importance. He's letting me carry this out. Let's get that number 3.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
3 is a magic number.
Expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
I'm not sure what your problem is, Bucket. You're kind of a party pooper in this route.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
You know what, Bucket? I think if you saw it again, you'd understand.
No, No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Why won't you speak to me, Bucket?
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
I don't understand, Bucket. We were so close. Thought you were feeling what I was feeling.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another.
Quit
Why
copying the things I
suddenly
say.
could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
We gonna find out.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
It's the only thing that makes sense, honestly.
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
There's going to be no one there in this one, is there? Those are important.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Honestly, it's the third chance.
There was no one here.
Knew it.
Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Dang, that was way more depressing than the other ending. Alright, This is the last one I know of, I think.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Whoop.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it.
As we are wont to do.
All very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are.
I feel very
We call
special.
this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything.
They really went all out for this one.
You did it. Good job. 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 You did it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
The only wonders I have are what secrets does the bottom of this place hold now that I have the bucket?
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
I
Thankfully,
did
he
not
fell
trip.
directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
Oh yeah, that's how that works.
What to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
That makes sense.
So they set up a little couch and relaxed.
Oh,
It really
nice.
wasn't so bad down here. A bit cold, perhaps. After some time had gone by,
Oh.
they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel
Oh, yeah.
warm.
It's coming together now.
After some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets.
No, this is
and
pretty
the
nice
state of
down here.
their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning.
Oh, no, Stanley, don't do that.
It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
It's never true.
This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible.
I'm with you, Bucket.
Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Oh-ho. The epilogue. Oh. Huh. This is where we ended up in that one weird ending with the skip button. Good thing I got my office chair. But where's my bucket? I must journey onward. The quest for the bucket continues. You won't stop me. You won't stop me from finding him. I'll search the ends of the earth for my bucket. I know you're out there, bucket. Oh? My bucket better be in here. Long way to go to get my bucket. What? Cookie Nine's blog. Cookie Nine. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teemed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fanbase. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? I know I care about the infinitely deep hole. Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the Adventure Line trademark? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting, a welcome reprieve from... Give me back my bucket. They did get pretty close, but not too close. Not that close. Okay, done with that. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. By Snip Sweeney. When the Stanley Parable launched a massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game, and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. 25 buckets.
Jim.
Couldn't resist. The figurines. The hole. Well, it certainly wasn't infinitely deep. Oh, there's the new content design. Hello again. Setting sky. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. That is terrible. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Heat death of the universe. The way to go. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. Simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Ooh. Ooh. Let's see. I'm going to go with a pocket full of content. The Stanley Parable 3, pocket full of content. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either, just like Call of Duty sequels. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. Oh, Activision hears you. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. Oh my god, I feel like this is striking out directly at them. Okay. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. I trust you, Settings Man. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. All right there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. Pocket full of content. There's a car!
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Wait, I already have a bucket. What happens if I get another bucket? Huh.
Wait, there are 2 buckets here.
Yes!
Get a second bucket. Oh no, the warmth and comfort of a single bucket is already so great, so intoxicatingly wonderful. With 2 buckets, there's no telling. Stanley, can you still hear me? Are you with me? Stanley! Oh, thank God. I didn't lose you. Stanley, the power of 2 buckets was too much. I had to destroy both of them. I know how much the bucket meant to you, but I couldn't take the risk. I hope one day you can forgive me.
I hate this game.
It's as simple as that.
But
As
at
you can see,
least I got
the
my
machine's not
achievement.
working yet since what? Wait, what in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched? Oh, God. Composure, composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
And that's all she wrote. So that is it for the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I think we reasonably hit every ending, the exception being the art ending, which is only achieved after playing the Keep the Baby Out of the Fire game for 4 hours. And I'm just not willing to punish myself like that. All in all, the Stanley Parable is a fantastic game. I won't speak much on the original content, as I think that's been drilled down enough before. And I'll suffice to say, the original game was a jewel, and I got hours of fun out of it, trying to explore any possible option the game would let me choose, which really spoke on the nature of choice in games, something that has become extremely relevant in game design since probably the early 2000s, most games before really not relying too much on the narrative of choice for the most part. That out of the way, the new content felt less nuanced and more on the nose. But the thing of it is, I'm not sure that isn't how it was meant to be. To elaborate, this one spoke more about the modern concept of remasters, DLC, and other add-ons that modern games see, and how the content they provide can ultimately be a little lackluster, and sometimes feels like a money grab, or even sometimes maybe not a money grab, but a pandering to certain audience reviews. Now, those in themselves often end up being rather on-the-nose changes. So maybe it was always intended for this delivery to feel so heavy-handed. Getting away from the message, there were parts I found a little boring in the new content, mainly wandering the expo there for a bit. Took a really long time with very little narrative, just trying to find my way around and everything. I was exploring little spots that I thought would have changes and didn't, bits of narrative to look for. So really, a lot of that was on myself. The rest I found enjoyable enough and fun enough. My personal favorites having to be literally any narrative involving the bucket, which I'm definitely going to have to buy a t-shirt for now. I definitely need an obscure Stanley Parable bucket t-shirt, and the Infinite Hole, which I would jump in another couple times if given the choice to do so. These felt so alive in the narrative to me, so natural to the Stanley Parable. If the bucket was the only new thing added to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, I would tell you it was worth every penny just to hear the new takes on each of the endings. But it wasn't. And Ultra Deluxe felt like it added so much more to the game. It spoke on a message that had already been spoken and somehow still managed to say more without compromising its original intent. So end of the day, I'm very satisfied with what I got to experience. So thank you for enduring a day at the office with me in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I look forward to our next adventure.